Hello students, as in my previous video, I had told you people that in my next video I will be discussing with you people the salient features of 19th century British literature. So today's video is about the same. So, students, literature of the 19th century refers to the world literature produced during the 19th century. I hope that is quite obvious with the title itself. But if we talk about the years it encompasses, the range of years is roughly from 1799 to 1900. That means this much time period is roughly covered under the title 19th century literature. If we talk about the eras covered under this span of time, the eras that are covered are Romantic era and whole of Victorian era. As I am saying whole of Victorian era, that's why often this time period is referred to as Victorian era. Now, at the very beginning of this video, let me discuss with you people what actually is Victorian literature. Victorian literature is the literature written in England during the reign of Queen Victoria. I hope now you people must be aware of this fact that the naming of the literary, you can say, age of in English literature is based upon the queen whosoever was reigning at that time. So when we are considering this 19th century literature, at that time Queen Victoria was at the throne. It is largely characterized by the struggle of working people and the triumph of right over wrong. Now, these are chiefly the basic qualities that were, you can say, present in the society at that time. The literature of this era was preceded by Romanticism and was followed by Modernism or Realism. That's what I told you earlier, that from 1800, that I said 1799, that means from 1799 till 1837, that time period falls under the category of post-Romanticism, and from 1837 to 1901, the whole of this time span falls under the category of Victorian period. So that's why Victorian period is basically what 19th century literature is all about. So now let's discuss the common themes in this particular time period which were explored by the writers and poets of that age. First and the foremost is the literature of this age tended to come face to face with realism. Now this is one of the chief qualities of this particular era. See, up till now people were more and more inclined towards the flight of imagination, because that was the chief quality of Romantic era. But as the things succeeded towards Victorian or the 19th century era, people came face to face with harsh realities of life, and that is what is reflected in their works also. So basically, the literature of this age is the literature of realism. The second important feature of the theme explored in this particular time period is that the literature of this age seems to deviate from the strict principle of art for art's sake and asserts its moral purpose. See, previously people were indulged in these compositions, whether they were poetic or prosaic, to state the principle of art for art's sake. But as I told you that this era was the era of realism, so now people started exploring the morality behind writing or behind composing something. So whatever was written had a moral purpose. And the third theme is it was more like the age of pessimism and confusion. Now this is something noteworthy. Why pessimism and confusion? Because if we just go by the historical records, it was the time of great upheaval. industrial revolution was at its peak, and that's why middle very fast emergence of middle class was taking place. And because of that, the class distinctions were having more wide gap in between them. So people at that time were full of pessimistic approach towards life. And one of the very important things, the influence of science was strongly felt here. People were now more inclined towards science because they felt now the need of scientific approach to provide them answers to the queries, the mind-boggling questions that were emerging in their minds. They wanted to have the answers of them, and science was the only thing that from where they could you can say get the answers. So the influence of science was strongly felt. And I told you earlier also, because of industrialization, whole of the aspect of you can say approach towards life changed, and that is what reflected in the 19th century literature also. Now I'm going to take up one by one the characteristics of the various chansons there that were popular at that time in writing. So first of all, I'm going to take up the characteristics of Victorian or 19th century British novels. See students, the novels of that time, they idealized portraits of difficult lives in which hard work, perseverance, love and luck win out in the end. These were the, you can say, basic themes of novels of that time. They were usually inclined towards being of improving nature with a central moral lesson at heart. And this was the basic formula of you can say the fiction of this time, and it became all the more complex as the century progressed. So if we talk about the famous novelists of this age, the first name that emerges is Charles Dickens, because he dominated the first part of Victoria's reign, and we can also call him the king of Victorian literature. His first novel, The Pickwick Papers, was published in 1836, and his last, Our Mutual Friend, between 1864 to 65. Apart from him, William Thackeray's most famous work, Vanity Fair, also appeared in this time. And one very important thing that I would like to mention here is that in this particular age, for the first time, women writers made their presence felt, because earlier though there were a few women writers, but they adopted male pseudonyms for writing. But for the first time in this Victorian era, we had strong feminist writers, though Virginia Woolf is one who emerged above heads others. But to name a few novelists, I would like to mention the three Bronte sisters, Charlotte, Emily and Anne, and the novels published by them were Wuthering Heights and Jane Eyre. That they were very famous. These are the very famous novels of that particular time period. A major later novel was George Eliot's Middlemarch, while the major novelists of the later part of Queen Victoria's reign were Thomas Hardy, whose first novel, Under the Greenwood Tree, appeared in 1872, and his last, Jude the Obscure, in 1895. Now don't get confused. I am just trying to explain the things to you, although I'll be providing you the things in writing, in you can say on particularly will be having lectures on Tuesday and Wednesday. So on Thursday I'll be providing you the notes of this particular you can say discussion that we are having today. So you just listen to the thing carefully, and you can just rerun the video in case if you miss something, but don't get panicked because I'll be providing you the notes of the same on Thursday. And I would like to name the major you can say novelists of this age. I hope I named Charles Dickens, Hardy, Thackeray, and these were the major novelists of that age. Now let's have the characteristics of the Victorian poetry. So the characteristics of the Victorian poetry. The Victorian poetry was also indifferent from the already stated style, because much of the work of the time is seen as a bridge between the Romantic era and the modernist poetry of the next century. Now, what I mean to say is the poetry of this age also reflects the social upheaval that was taking place at that time. If we talk about the major poets of this particular era, I would like to mention Robert Browning and Alfred Lord Tennyson. They composed some of the best, you can say, poems of that particular era. Robert Browning and Elizabeth Barrett Browning, they conducted their love affair through verse and produced many tender and passionate poems. Both Matthew Arnold and G.M. Hopkins, they wrote poems which sit somewhere in between the exaltation of nature of the Romantic poetry and the Georgian poetry of the early 20th century. However, here it is noteworthy that Hopkins's poetry was published posthumously. Tennyson's Idylls of the King is the poem that is noteworthy over here. The list is so long that it cannot be completed at one stretch. So that's what I'm saying, that I'll be providing you the notes of the same. Let's proceed further. So next important category is the 19th century British non-fiction, or better known as the Victorian non-fiction. So if we talk about the masters of non-fiction, they were the great Whig historian Thomas Macaulay and Thomas Carlyle. Carlyle was the historian, social critic and prophet whose rhetoric thundered through the age. Apart from him, I would like to mention J.S. Mill, the great liberal scholar and philosopher, Thomas Henry Huxley, a scientist and popularizer of Darwinian theory, John Henry, Cardinal Newman, and a great number of people are also there. So the list is very lengthy. It cannot be incorporated in this video. I'll be giving you notes of that even. Let's proceed further. Now we are having the Victorian or 19th century British drama. So before giving you any details of the same, I would like to mention that basically 19th century is famous for its novels. It is in common parlance known as the age of novels. However, a few dramas are there which I feel need to be mentioned. If we talk about the quality of drama, in drama, farces, musical burlesques, extravaganzas, and comic operas competed with Shakespearean productions. And to name a few dramatists, James Planchet, Thomas William Robertson, German Weed Entertainment's productions, these are some of the, you can say, dramas which were produced during that era. But as I told you earlier, much of the work took place in the field of novels. So basically, novels overshadowed everything. Now, this is the chief, you can say, difference between other ages and Victorian age, or this is the special quality of Victorian age, that it produced some of the best known children literature. The Victorians are credited with inventing childhood, partly via their efforts to stop child labor and the introduction of compulsory education. So, though there are the novelists who have actually written novels regarding them, but as Dickens's A Child's History of England, or Lewis Carroll's Alice in Wonderland, these are some of the very well known, you can say, compositions which fall under the category of children's literature. So, although these publications were not designed to capture a child's pleasure, still, as they dealt with children's life, so somehow the society accepted them with open hands, and the children began to enjoy literature, and they were able to learn morals in a more entertaining way. So this was the, you can say, mammoth task done by the Victorian literature writers who dealt with children's literature. And even here, Dickens surpasses everyone else. So, students, that was all about the 19th century British literature, or better, Victorian literature. I have tried to make it, you can say, present it to you people in a capsule form, because it is so lengthy. Enough number of videos can be produced out of that, but my aim was to give you an overview of what actually you people are going to study in this class. So I hope I have been able to just serve the purpose. In case if you have not been able to follow anything, or there are any queries, feel free to ask me on WhatsApp. Apart from that, again and again, I'm telling you people, keep in touch with this particular group, because you will be providing material which will help you on daily basis. So just go through this video, and if you feel the pace a bit quick, because I had to cover so much things in single video, so I think the pace got a bit quicker. So just rerun the video, and even then don't be panicked, because I'll be providing you the notes of the same on Thursday, rather in Thursday's session. So till then, stay at home, stay safe.